Hello everyone! So, this may be a bad idea, just because it's requiring a lot of processing power on my computer, but today we are going to attempt to draw something on Solidworks while streaming. So, for those of you that don't know, 3D modeling software such as Solidworks require a lot of processing power. I do have it running on my graphics card, so that should help because this is actually a gaming laptop, but other than that, while streaming online with internet that tends to somewhat go out every once in a while, I have no idea how well this is going to turn out, but I'll give you an idea of what my setup is right now. I've got the SolidWorks on my computer right here, and on my second screen over on the corner, I have the comments and the pictures I'm going to be referencing. So if you see me looking over here, then I'm probably looking at the pictures, but if I see a comment, I'm going to look at it. So this is going to be probably a long stream, so I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm just kind of winging it right now. But if you guys have any questions, it doesn't even have to be about what I'm doing on the screen, but if you have any questions about what I'm doing, I'll definitely feel free to ask them in the chat, and I will be able to answer that at some point in time. So we're going to get right into it. I have my trusty ruler here, and you can tell that I live in a household that isn't completely engineers because the metric side has been hole punched. So that'll be interesting, but I'm just going to use this for reference on my own hand in order to get some idea. I haven't even mentioned what I'm drawing yet. I know it's in the title, but I'm going to mention it right here. So I'm going to be drawing Scary Terry's hand from Rick and Morty. Now, I wanted to draw something that would be relevant in culture today, also from cartoons, just because cartoons are fun and I enjoy watching them. But I didn't want to do something that was too cliche, so I didn't want to do like the plumbus or the portal gun. But I decided, after deliberating with a couple of my friends, that we're gonna go for Scary Terry's hand today. So if you don't know what Scary Terry's hand is, he's got kind of like a fingerless glove, and then his fingertips are sword blades. So we're gonna see how this works out. But I figured I'd use my own hand for reference. He doesn't have the biggest hands, and neither do I, so it should work out pretty nicely. So let's think. So to start out, I'm trying to decide whether I want to just draw it kind of flat. I think that would be the easiest way to go about it. And then maybe in future episodes we can go into some deeper detail. But what I'm thinking is that we're going to start with just kind of the general shape in a two-dimensional plane. We'll extrude it into kind of a boxy shape, and then we'll add in some fillets and whatnot to make it more close to the actual shape that Scary Terry has in his hand. So let's get right into that. So we're gonna work on the front plane, and we're gonna go ahead and sketch. I want to make sure that this is all working well. Yes, it is, but it may be kind of slow with the actual screen capture. I know that it was giving me some errors that I was capping out my accessible memory. So let's see if. Let me know in the chat if there's any visual problems, but this is kind of a test run for the whole process, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to go ahead. I've got some pictures up for reference. I'll try to keep this. Let me see if I can get a bigger image of that. Yeah. So Scary Terry, there's a scene where he's got his hand out like this, and you can see all the sword blades pretty flat. And then there's just a little bit of contouring where the thumb is. So we're going to go ahead and try to draw that right away. So let's go ahead, let's grab a spline, and we're going to kind of cheat the system a little bit and draw this with a spline. I know if this were a more, let me get this based off of the origin. So we're going to kind of just sketch this like so. So what's going to happen is I'm probably going to actually draw this out, and then we're going to kind of clean it up afterwards. So let me zoom out a bit. Now, in the process of this, it will probably be better to have more splines than necessary, because that will allow me to clean it up a little bit better. Yeah, this is going to look pretty bad right off the start, I'll tell you that. And there we go. So this is a really crappy looking hand. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get it to the point where it is a little bit more defined. So let me work on this a little bit. So we're going to pull this guy out. We want all the fingers to be relatively similar length. Now, Scary Terry's hand doesn't necessarily have kind of any differences between the fingers other than the thumb. All four fingers are relatively the same. So I'm actually going to save this off right at the start. I'm going to save this so that it doesn't, I don't lose my progress. So we're going to say Scary Terry. And we'll save that just so we can save it periodically. If you are working in Solidworks, I would suggest saving documents relatively often. It's a good process to save documents anyways, but it's very important in Solidworks because Solidworks tends to crash every once in a while, and you don't want to lose hours of work. So, like I said, I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm kind of winging it, but we're just going to kind of pull this here and there. Now, I'm probably going to be breaking a couple SolidWorks, no, I'm going to probably be making a couple SolidWorks sins because I'm drawing such an abstract shape. I may not have everything defined as well as it could be, just because the shape itself is relatively odd. So we need to pull these in, and we're gonna, not sure what that is. What's going on there? Yeah. I think that's something that extra that popped up. You may hear a lot of boodle doops coming from my computer. That is telling you that it's mad that I'm using so much RAM. That's just something we're gonna have to live with for a while here. So now in general, I want to try to pull this up, and then these hands, the hand part, I'm gonna pull down, just so that it's a little bit larger in actual height. Now I may have pulled this too far, so we're gonna pull it down a little bit because his hand isn't very tall, so I want to make sure that we're not having an incorrect hand here. So I'm just trying to get the general shape. Also, if you are watching this, I am planning on making this into a speed art later, so that maybe if people don't want to watch the whole stream, that's fine with me. I'm probably gonna not as talkative as I have been the entire stream. Now, one thing I can keep in mind is that these the tips of the fingers here aren't as important. It's more about the actual shape up to them, because I am going to be lopping those off, so that's not a problem. Can I get rid of this? There we go. Yeah, I didn't like that the way that was. So I need to get these to be a little bit straighter. That looks good. That looks good. So far so good. I'm gonna try and get the angle of this a little bit better. Now, in the future, I would like to do something that isn't necessarily so spline oriented, but I think that for now, this is what we're going to have. So let me, I don't know what my scale is going to be right now. Let me see how wide this is. Oh, that's going to cause some problems. Okay. Yeah, let me just grab a center line. We're gonna see how wide this is. And yeah. So that is currently 172 millimeters. So how wide do we want this in order to scale it? Because when we initially scale things in SolidWorks, it doesn't cause too much problems. It should stay where we are. So we want it to be about 10 centimeters wide. If we have it spread out like that, maybe a little bit more. Let's go with 12 is a nice number. So let's go with 120 millimeters. And that is going to be our scaling factor. So that should get us in the ballpark. And if the thickness of the hand is relatively similar to mine, it should be about let's say maybe 3 centimeters. So we're going to take this right off the bat. We're going to extrude it to be 30 millimeters in height. So we're going to go 30. Now what we're going to do once we have this is we're actually going to add some fillets in. Now you saw me reach forward there. I've actually been I do SolidWorks at my work, so I actually have a spatial manipulator mouse. It's a secondary mouse that you can use to move things around that that are 3D oriented. So I'm so used to using it while I'm at work, and I wasn't expecting there to not be one at on my computer. So we got to remember, we had 30 millimeters as our depth currently, and we're adding in a fillet to this side. Now this may take a little bit. I want to fillet the edges to be. I want the radius to be 15 because we want these to meet up in the middle. So we're gonna go 15 millimeters, and we're also going to fillet this side. Now I think that it may be causing some problems when we do so, but let's see what that turns into. Like I said, SolidWorks is running somewhat slow. Radius fillet is too large to fit the surrounding geometry. Now we do get these problems with let's just see how this looks before. So you can see that it's kind of smoothing it out. I want this to definitely be larger of a fillet. So maybe we can get away with something like 12. If we're trying to get 15, then it might be a little bit flat on the sides. But now we are definitely getting some visual problems on the stream. So let's go with 12. And let me see how that goes. Yes, so that's causing some problems. I'm not sure where the problems are. It may be somewhere in these little tight corners here. But let's see. We got to figure out what's the most we can get out of this. Let's see, 10 maybe. I think if it's not showing me the preview, then it's going to give me an error. So if we had 5 was good, let's try 6. 7. Seven's a little bit better. Let's see how that looks. It's still a little messed up. Maybe we can make the hand not as deep, because that might have been an exaggeration. Yeah, let's go with 20 for our extrusion in order to make that a little bit more realistic. Save. And that looks a little bit better. So if we can see that we have some interesting shapes here. I might want to tone down the dimple in the bottom area. So let's go back to the sketch and just kind of pull this guy in to try and tone this down. So we're going to pull this in like so. It's a little bit better. I think there may actually be too many dots over here. So let me just delete this one and just trying to sculpt the shape into what we want. Let me delete this one as well. That will probably help us out. I think that's a lot better. All right. So if we save that out, like I said, we're going to be cutting off the fingers, so that shouldn't be a problem. And let's see where we want to cut them off. So it looks like if our hand is 12 centimeters wide from that kind of like the middle portion, let's see, that is about a 5 to 12 ratio with the picture I'm looking at. And these fingers are going to be about 1.5 long in the picture. So if we have 5 divided by 12 is that fraction, and then 1.5 divided by our fraction is going to be 3.6. So we want these fingers to be 3.6 long, and then we're going to cut them off, and that's where the swords are going to begin. So let me grab, let me just start a new drawing on the front plane. So we're going to sketch this, and we're going to just kind of generally draw this. So it's going to be an interesting shape how we're doing this. Because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut these off like so. And then I'm actually going to have to come back around. That not? Okay, I guess this isn't. Oh, I think I held it down. Okay, so this is the shape that we're going to cut it off with. And we want to make sure that maybe the distance from that center point is correct. So that is going to be about 4 centimeters in our 5 to 12 ratio. So 4 times 12 divided by 5 is going to be 9.6 centimeters. So that's what we're going to go with for each of these. Escape that. Yeah, I'm getting an error. I wish to continue Solidworks. So let's see how this goes. That's about spot on with what we want. So we want this to be 96. And let's see where the second one is. I believe it'll be about the same thing. It is slightly less. Yeah, we'll go with 3.5. 3.5 times 12 divided by 5. It's going to be 8.4. So this we want to be 8.4. Oh, yeah, so this is going to cause some problems. Maybe I can do this by hand a little bit. So let's delete this. No. Let's delete this. Okay, so because I have these lines here, that shouldn't cause any problems. It's getting mad at me though. Control Z. All right, yeah, this is going to be a bad way of doing it. Maybe I can just see how this looks the way it is. I think we're onto something here. So if I pull this down, I'm just trying to get them in the right ballpark. Now, when I do things at work, I tend to do things a little bit more sophisticated, but right now we're just going for the actual shape in a kind of abstract manner. So let's go ahead and extrude cut this. So we're going to go through both, click yes, and looky there, we now have a beautiful hand with chopped off fingertips. So let's see how that looks right now. Looks pretty neat. So we may go back and make some details in the back maybe, but we'll see how that goes when we get to it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have to make, well, what we can do is we can actually make a new drawing, and then we can rotate some stuff. So let's, we're going to keep drawing on the front plane here. New sketch. Now what I'm going to do is let's get normal to that, and maybe I can convert entities. So what we want is we want to have these lines here. Sorry, not that. We want to convert that entity into a line on our plane, and now you can see that it is available. Oh, so here's something that I need to adjust. Let's go, let's save this off. What we're going to do is we're going to actually edit this. We want this to be mid-plane. This is going to be important for when we're adding in the fingers, or adding in the knife kind of guards. So let me edit sketch. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a center line that's going to be right in the middle of this guy, going to be perpendicular like so. And then let me see what we're working with. So it's about, we'll say half centimeter, maybe 0.4. So we're going to go 0.4 times our 12 divided by 5, is equal to 5 on the dot. So that, oh no, that doesn't make sense. So 4.8 divided by 5 is not 5. Divided by 5 is going to be 0.96. So if we multiply that by 10, we get 9.6 to be our amount of millimeters we need. We could probably just round that up to 10. That'd be okay with how it'll look. And it looks like to me that they stick out about the same amount from the thumb. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to grab a rectangle. We're going to, this is going to be problematic. So we can't use the rectangle tool because we are not flat along the line here. So let's go like so. We just need to be perpendicular. That's all that's necessary. And we'll end it off here. Hit escape. So what we need to decide, we said that this was going to be about 10 millimeters tall, and we said that the line here is going to be 10 as well, and then that should be what we want. So we can now do a revolved, not revolved cut. Let's not do that. We want to do a revolved boss base. Selected contour. Our line that we want to do this around is, delete that, our middle line here. That is actually the one that we wanted. And we should be able to do this thin feature. I don't want this to be a thin feature. There we go. So let's accept that, and you can see what I'm going for here. So we have this this disc here, and we just need to do the same on each of these fingers. Now there might be some areas where we're having some collision here, and we'll have to adjust the sizes of things in order to not have that happen. But this is the idea. So let's continue that process. We're gonna do that in the same order. So let's start a new sketch on the front plane. We're going to go normal to that sketch. We're going to convert these entities. We actually only need these two on the side from what we did earlier. So convert those. Now I will grab a center line. I'm going to put that right at the middle. Go perpendicular. Doesn't matter where it ends. And then we will just continue this line outwards. It's not giving me any prompts to keep that perpendicular, so we'll just make these the way they are and finish it off, and we'll have to go work with this. So these two are already perpendicular. This is going to be collinear, and that fixes everything. So now we just need to make this line 10. And I think we are going to have some problems with collisions interference. So this is going to be 10 as well. And we can go back and fix these collisions. So maybe the 10 here is too far. Let's change that to 7.5. And that should solve that problem. And let's revolve. No. What is open about this? Oh. Those two should be the same. X. Don't know why that didn't go all the way to the bottom, but you never know. Okay, so now we're going to hit revolve. Contour is going to be that one. Thin feature, get the hell out of here. And now we have our second finger. So let me go back to the first finger. We're going to edit that sketch, and we are going to adjust this 10 to our 7.5. just so we continue to get what we're looking for. So now we get some consistency in our drawing. So we're just going to continue this process. Not seeing any questions in the chat yet. Let me get a new sketch. We're going to go normal to that sketch. We will convert these entities into lines. Let's go. Alright, center line. Escape. That is good. We'll get this out here. Now we actually might have some collisions there. That might be problematic. Now, at some point, I will have to go and move the fingers if we have too much collision, because I don't want it to be unrealistic with how far these guards go from the fingertips. So I want to make sure that we're getting the proper amount of distance here. So this is about 5.8. We want it to be 7.5. And I believe that is colliding. Assuming, well, yeah, they're on the same plane here, so that is definitely colliding. And we'll get our 10. That makes it a little bit shorter. So I think that this finger may need to be angled slightly further to the side. Perhaps the entire side of the hand over here might have to angle to the side a little bit. But let's continue and finish this guy out. So let's go to our revolve. We're going to select this. Screw you, thin feature. I don't know why it keeps suggesting thin feature. It's not a thin feature. It's a box. But maybe it has something to do with my current processing power. So, yeah, it looks like the length of the fingers aren't necessarily too consistent. Maybe this one could be a little bit longer. Just to even things out, but we can go clean these up later, just because I didn't necessarily define everything, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem. But let's actually go, we're going to roll this back to here. We're going to edit our sketch. We're going to get the finger over here a bit more. We don't want it to be curved like that. We want it to be kind of outwards at the top. Maybe we can get this to be a little bit more over to the side. So let's continue moving this. We don't want to move it. Actually, we don't want to move it too far. That's true, because we don't want this to collide the way it was over here. So let me see how that looks. Now I might have to adjust where it's being cut. So if we add the fillets to it, that still looks fine. If we do the cut is causing some problems. So let's edit this sketch. I did click edit sketch, did I not? I think these are causing some errors. Might be causing some problems the way I'm doing this. I think that actually works. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, we're getting some geometry errors. So where are these errors happening? Now this is kind of the pain of not defining things properly. No. maybe I can kind of cheat the system a bit. Let me escape that. Escape. Let me get this shorter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this be a constant length. And then when I go move this, it will not go crazy like it has been. Now, I'm not really sure where the error is. It's causing, it's saying that there's some impossible geometry. Maybe is there anything that is crossing over in too many spots? It says feature 3 has a warning. This may cause subsequent features to fail. So these are still trying to be where they were. Not used to it giving me this preview the way it is. Can I get to... I want to be normal to this. I might just have to redo the actual cut itself. Just delete it, because it's God damn it. I accidentally hit the help button. Alright, time to start over with that cut. Let me just save this off in case I accidentally delete something I don't want to. Yeah, so let's delete this. Yes. Continue and ignore. Close. Delete. Yes. Close. So these revolves may have to be redone just because it's causing some problems with the because I'm deleting these planes. So let me try and get this set up. We're gonna do a front plane sketch. Normal to it. Normal to it the other way, because that's not the hand that I'm looking at. And let's just botch it again. Now, I think that those little lines might have been causing some problems. So we're going to go like that. Like that. Like this. We're going to try and make it a little bit more continuous. And then with the thumb, we'll cut it off there. Alright, let me extrude cut through in both directions. That's what I want, and it's giving me an error. So why is this being problematic? Oh, can I select these contours? Yeah. Apparently there's a geometric condition that is problematic. Why are all these geometries here? Let me get out of this. Why are these perpendicular? Yeah, no, screw that. So I wanted this to be 9.6. That's what we were saying. So we're gonna go 96. That shifts everything, and I mean it's about where we want it to be. So 95. 95. 94. And the thumb will probably be about 8. Yeah, it's 80. I'm confused because it's saying that things don't exist anymore, but they do. Because the error is happening. I have it rolled back, so why is it causing problems? Yeah, like these are warnings, but that's... Alright, screw it. We're gonna have to get rid of all these. That's a little annoying, but alright, we're back to this. So I don't know why it was being such a problem situation, but let's see how it goes. So let me grab we're gonna get a front plane sketch. Yep. And we're going to draw a line. We're gonna keep drawing lines. Alright, so I just want to cut this away. Both directions. Cut. Why is that causing problems? Why is this direction there? Yeah. How did this work before? If... Can I not delete? Oh, apparently those lines are gone. Okay, so let's try and do this again. Feature, extrude cut, both directions. And it still won't do it. Alright, screw it. Alright, we're gonna have to like completely define this entire thing, which is gonna be a pain in the butt. But I guess that's what we're doing. So let's make our lives a little easier, as opposed to this. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, I don't know why that's still there, but okay, so this is going to be vertical. We're going to make this vertical. And we're just going to put a huge box around here. So let's do that. This is going to be vertical. Alright, let's grab a line. Control Z that, because that was stupid. Line, 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 line. Okay. Escape, escape. This is going to be horizontal. This is going to be vertical. These are already horizontal. I don't care how long this is. I don't care how long this is. That's fine. This should be there. We're going to get this defined. If it takes forever. Yay. So why is that like so? Like what can move here? Oh, let me make this collinear. How can this? Okay, so it's based off of that thumb. So let's make this how we would like it to be. Okay, and then we're going to solidify this angle. Yeah, let's just do all the angles first, and then we'll keep doing this the hard way, I guess. Now in the future, it may be important for me to have a better game plan going into this, but this is how we're doing it right now. Alright, that is completely defined. So, let's cut both directions. Why isn't it working? What's wrong? I don't get it. Alright. Alright. We may have to restart Solidworks in order to get this to work, because I think it's just being stupid right now. So let's save this out. I'm going to save that as so. And I'm going to switch the screen over so you guys can see my face a little bit more. So there we go. And let me just close out of SolidWorks. We're going to reopen it because when in doubt, reboot. It's funny because a boot actually popped up as I was loading SolidWorks as the little demo picture. Alright, we're back up and running on SolidWorks. I'm going to pull up Scary Terry. And it's telling me that I'm using all of my RAM, which is true. See. There we go. Back. Let's see if it was just a problem of working on this drawing. So why is it in instant 3D? That's stupid. I don't want that. Features, we're going to extrude cut both directions. And I was completely correct in saying that it was all SolidWorks' fault. So this being here is a problem. So we need to edit that sketch once more. Let's get rid of this guy. Delete that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to delete the measurement. Let's get rid of this. We're going to put it back on the origin because that's where it should be. Coincident. Error. So my God, it just worked. Okay, so this is going to be in the opposite direction. We're going to say 0.0000001. So let me go in here, edit sketch, features, cut, both directions. Why is it an error now? Control Z. Oh my God. Why does that work? and and the other one doesn't. I don't get it. This works fine, and the other way doesn't, and it's just because this changes. That's all that's happening. Oh my god. Okay, so I might have to restart SolidWorks again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this drawing before I do that and see if that changes anything. Because sometimes it's just stupid. As you saw, it did work once I restarted SolidWorks. So I need to change this to negative 0.01, enter. And you can see that there should be a little bit of space. Now, I don't know why it's doing it that way. Control Z. Oh my god. Can I... Maybe I can just do this. Maybe I can just do this. Let's grab that point. Oh my gosh. I just want to draw a line. There we go. Escape. Delete. 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 What we're going to do is we're going to define it this way. And we're going to define this line. Cancel. We're not going to define that line. We're going to do that. So what way, dang it. What way can it move right now? Okay, it can move side to side. So we need to make this vertical with that. And we are back to where we were. And that should not be as problematic. So, let's go see if we can cut it. If not, I'm going to close out of SolidWorks and restart it again. Hell yeah. Alright, for some reason it was giving me some problem with it being connected to the origin there, because it was creating a 0 point where there was no area. It was just a perfectly fine point, and for some reason it was trying to cut that, and it was causing problems. So, let's finally get back to drawing the sword guards. So, how long have I been streaming so far? Almost an hour. We're gonna get this going. So, assuming that these are in the right place, I'm definitely not moving those fingers again because it's gonna give me so many problems. Alright, so let's sketch something on our front plane. I think we are normal to it, but let's just try it out. So we're going to convert entities, that one and that one. We're going to say yes. We're going to grab our center line. We're going to do that. Escape. We're going to zoom in, draw our line, draw that line, draw that line, draw that line. This is going to be perpendicular to this. That evens everything out. That's going to be 10. And this is going to be 7.5. Because that's what we're doing. So, we're going to go Revolve Boss Base, Screw You Thin Feature, select Contour, Accept. So, we have that one. Now we need to draw this one. We're going to draw front plane, sketch, convert entities, middle, those two. Going to convert them. Then we're going to start drawing. Escape, we need to draw the center line first. The center line doesn't have to be too long. So as long as it's taller than 10, that's fine. So we'll draw a line. We're going to, let me just draw it this way first so that it's already perpendicular when we get to it. Escape. Let me see if we can get these to be 7.5. 7.5. Is that going to collide? It is not. Hallelujah. So we need to get this to be 10. And now we can revolve the base here. Thin feature, go away. Yes. Alright, so as you can see, it is not colliding. We don't have a problem. So now I am going to continue the process. Let's go to the front plane. We're going to convert these entities. And then we're going to grab a center line. Get the center of this guy. Bring it up here. That's good. Then we'll get a line. We're going to go from here first. That makes things slightly easier. And go there. So, we can get these. It's going to be 10. And then this is going to be 7.5. And then we're going to revolve. Select contour. Get rid of thin feature. Yes. Alright. And then we're going to continue on this one. So, front plane. Sketch. Convert entities. This guy. This guy. Yes. Center line. Perpendicular. Good. Then, line. Go up from the middle. Over. Down. Great. That's probably going to collide. I'm probably going to make it smaller if that's the situation, because I am not dealing with that right now. That's going to be 10. And then we want this guy to be 7.5. Is that going to collide? No, it is not. It's close, though. So let's revolve this guy. Thin feature, go away. There we go. Now we have that finger. And we're going to do our final one. We're going to sketch on the front plane. Sketch. Convert entities. Not that. There we go. And center line. Perpendicular. Escape line. Up from the middle. Escape. This needs to be perpendicular. 7.5, and then this is going to be 10 on the dot, and we'll go revolve for the final time, and we just need to get rid of the thin feature, add that, and we're good. So that is where we're at. We can look at all of these pretty easily. So if we go to isometric view, you can see that we do have our fingertips like so. So now we're going to get to the sword blades. Now the sword blades are not necessarily a perfect, what am I looking for? They're not flat. They've got kind of like a prism shape to them. So what we can do is we can put a chamfer on it. So I think that's what we're gonna do in order to get what we're looking for. Or maybe I can just cut out the prism shape afterwards, and that should be fine. So I guess what we're gonna do is we're going to start out by drawing the shapes on the front plane, and then we will, from there, we'll cut what we need. So we're going to draw these long blades. So let me do some measurements for the first time in about maybe 25 minutes. They are about 1 centimeter wide at the bottom, and about they don't change too much. I know they go out a little bit, so perhaps we can draft them a little bit. You know, maybe that would be the way to do it. If I drafted it with a really low angle, then I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cancel or discard my changes here. So what I'm going to do instead of drawing on the front plane is I'm going to draw on here. We're going to add sketch onto here. We're going to convert entities. And then we're going to go grab the front plane and convert it. Can we do that? Apparently not. Oh, okay. Maybe we can do this. So let me go. Trying to think of how I can do this. Yeah, let me get out of there. So let me go to the front plane. We're gonna sketch on here. We're going to go normal to this, and then we're going to go and we're going to convert entities from the front plane into a drawing. I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna save this sketch. We're gonna convert those later in our secondary sketch, so that'll be what we want. We're gonna keep this shown. Yeah. So then we're gonna do a new sketch that is gonna be on this plane. And convert entities. Let me convert that line. Okay, it didn't convert entities, so we want to open that up. Hit enter. There we go. So that is the line we want. Now we don't want. We want it to be through the center here, so that's important. But we want the lines to be based off of this. So let's just kind of vaguely put a diamond shape on here. Escape, and then what we're going to do is this is our width. So we want this to be, like I said, this was about 1 centimeter at the bottom, but we have to remember that we're multiplying that by 12 and dividing by 5. So 1, so that'd be 10 millimeters times 12 divided by 5 is going to give us 24. So we want this to be 24. Alright. And if you know how parallelograms work, then you will see that this needs to be the parallel to this guy, and this guy needs to be parallel to this guy. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make these all equal. So let me make this equal to this, and that should solve the problem immediately. And then if we go like so, we need to, sorry, I need to get rid of the things that were selected. This is going to be vertical. There we go. And it's already done. This is the only way that it can go. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's, yeah, maybe that's not what we want. What? Why did that already define itself? I haven't told it what angles these are. I mean, it's not a square. Let me go... Oh, apparently it is a square. Ugh. So why can't... What? No, that's stupid. I don't want it to be perpendicular. There we go. That was the problem. Okay, so let's imagine the way that it's going. These blades are going to be pretty sharp. So I want this to be maybe, let's see. If this were 6, that's pretty sharp. So I think that's what we're going to go with, just to get kind of an idea. We never really see like dead on how thin they are, but I think this will give us the right idea. So if we go and we extrude this, now we need to figure out how long these blades are going to be. The blades on the big fingers are all about the same length, whereas the blade on the thumb is a little bit shorter. So that is about 8 centimeters. So if we go 80 times, let's say we're going to go 80 times 12 divided by 5, it's going to be 192 millimeters. So that's going to be pretty straightforward. Now I want to give it a very, very tiny draft when we do this. So I'm trying to think, because if I draft it, it's going to go outwards in all directions, but still be kind of pointy. So I don't know. Let's just see how it looks. So if we go and we extrude this, we're going to go outwards, but I have to select the contours. So these are the guys we're going to select. Okay, let me just Control 7 that. And we want to draft this outwards with something small, like 0.25 degrees. And then we want the length to be, now the tips are going to be different. So the tips are about 1 centimeter. So let's make this 18. We're going to go 180 millimeters. And I'm drafting the wrong direction. There we go. If I do that, it's already looking how I was hoping. So we just need to copy this onto the other 4 fingers, and then we'll make a slightly shorter one for the thumb, and we will be in business. Maybe we can finish this guy off. So let's say we're gonna sketch on here. Let's go normal to that. We're going to convert entities. Convert those. Then we'll just go ahead and extrude boss base those. It's going to be 10 millimeters. Then we're going to draft it inwards, and we're going to draft it, let's say, at a 30-degree angle. So if we look at how this looks, that is very sharp. So we need to tone this down. This is going to go to 15, and that's not going to be enough to get it as far as we want. I'm just trying to make sure that this is looking authentic. So let's go 7.5. I think that's the angle we want. Now we just need to continually go like that, and we have it where we want it. So that is the sword finger that we need, and it's finally starting to look like what we're hoping. So let me just do the same on each of these fingertips. So we're going to go normal to this guy. We're going to draw lines like so. These are all going to be equal in length. Equal. And then we're going to say that the center line there is going to be vertical, and we will go 24 by 6. That's what we want. Okay, and then we're gonna go features, extrude boss base. This is going to be 180 draft, and we said that this is going to be a 0.25 angled draft outwards, and that's what we want. So then we just need to draw on this surface, sketch, then we're going to convert entities. That already did it for us because I selected the face. That's probably good to remember. Then we'll extrude boss base. We're going to go 10 to start out, draft 7.5 inwards. Then we just need to look how far it needs to go up. I believe we went up to 30 and it did what we needed. So that is the second finger done, and we are wrapping up here. So let me go get this one started. We'll go normal. Here's where we're working. It's kind of interesting. It looks like a bigger pad over there. So let me get this one like so. Don't want any perpendicular lines that will cause problems. That apparently did not connect. I don't know why. So just merge those. These are all going to be the same length, equal, and then we're going to go middle. It's going to be vertical, and then we want this to be 24. We want this to be 6, and it is already ready to go. We're going to extrude that 180 with a draft outwards of 0.25. That's going to be like so. I'm gonna sketch on that, convert entities, bingo bango, we're in business. Then we'll just go ahead and put 30 there because we know that's what it needs. Draft inwards 7.5, and that should be our third finger. It's looking pretty good to me. I'm gonna sketch normal to right line, escape. So if I make these all even, I don't even have to make them parallel, because a parallelogram already works like that when you have the points at a perfect line like that. So we're learning things with every new attempt at this. This is going to be 24. I see there's a comment saying it's looking good, and I would agree. It's actually starting to look pretty good. So that one's there. We need to get these to be vertical. And I agree with your username. You were here. Their username is I was here. So that's pretty neat. Not 7. I don't know why I clicked 7. So 6. Then we'll grab Extrude. We're going to go 180. And draft 0.25. And then we'll draft outwards. Yep. And then we'll grab this. We're going to sketch on there, convert entities, and we'll get 30. And then we'll draft it inwards at 7.5 degrees. And that should be the 4th finger. So we have the 4th finger like so. And then we just need to do the thumb. Now the thumb, as I said, is slightly shorter. Is about 3/4 the length. So if we go 180 divided by, or 180 times 7.5, that's going to give us 135. So that's what we're going to draft outwards, and then we'll draft back inwards the normal amount in order to get a point at the top. So we're going to sketch on here. We're going to go normal to the sketch. Not sure why it put me this way this time, but we'll work with it. So let me do that. Escape. These are all going to be equal. This is going to be vertical. Apparently it's going to be horizontal, I guess, according to this. And then I just need to make the distances correct. So these are going to be 24. These are going to be 6. And we have a shape that we're looking for. So we're going to go to Features, Extrude, and then we're going to go, as we remember, 135. Draft outwards at a 0.25 degree angle, and then we'll hit that. We're going to sketch on this surface now, convert entities, features, boss base, 30. Probably won't even need 30 this time, but you know, we'll just do it anyway for overkill. 0.75. And voila, we have Scary Terry's hand. So, now obviously the hand part could be better. I would agree with that. But I think that this is good enough for my prototype episode of doing this. What I'm going to do, as I mentioned, is I'm going to cut this down into a very short video that's super fast and show the full picture. So maybe I can get some nice rotation around here just to show off the picture at the end. But I want to go get rid of these guys. So there's some lines. Yeah, I want to hide those lines. And that's all that I need to do. So maybe we can do some coloring. Let's. Oh, actually, no. That would require different pieces to be different. It would require an assembly in order to have like actual metal blades. But what I'm thinking is if I do a lot of these, I'll probably set up like a GrabCAD account, and then you guys can go pull them down if you want to 3D print them or something. But this should be full size. I don't know why you would want a full-sized Scary Terry hand. And the one thing is that we didn't really add the contour here with the thumb, but this video is dragging on a lot, so I think that this is going to be the first of hopefully many videos to come, and maybe we can get into a little bit more detail when we get into some cooler shapes and less splines, definitely. So that is all for now. I'm going to try to get this to be a nice, yeah, let me get there. That's going to be my final, oh, no, I'll just go to the, that's going to be my final shot. So, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't voted in the stock market, please go over to the previous video and vote in the stock market so that we can have a fluctuation this week. We've been having some pretty good participation in that. I'm going to check to see if anyone wants to do the tax episode tomorrow. But if not, you know, we already had a stream this weekend, so I promised one at least. But if we get two, that'll be a treat. So I am going to be signing off. If you have any final questions while I'm rambling here, then I'll try and answer them. But I know I have to give it about 30 seconds for you to even hear that. So, I'm going to be working on my game a little bit more today. Assuming I can find some dinner and I don't crash at some point. But other than that, I'm going to be signing off. So thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.